Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers' best bet or daily package for only $2.
Welcome, everybody, to Wager Talk Today. It is March 8th, 2022. I'm Lawrence Presman. That handsome stud muffin is Teddy Covers. We got a great show lined up. Ronald Cabang joining us right off the top. He's going to take a look at a prop in the Thunder game, as well as a bet on the Indiana Pacers game. Carmine Bianco, he's going to look at two hockey games, Vegas and Philadelphia, Arizona and Detroit. Of course, Dave Sharapan every Tuesday. Teddy, I won both my daily presidential picks last night, now on a 19-5 run. That play will be those two plays coming up at the end of the show. I got stuff to talk about, but brother, how are you? Did you win last night? Are you happy? Are you in a good mood?
Yeah, we won last night. We won 2-0. Again, it's been a real good run. I think of one loss over the last 3 days, 21-7 over the last 10 days. So it's been real good nice for the clients of late. But Prez, forget about everything. There's a huge sports betting story. The first national sports betting story came out yesterday. And that, of course, is Calvin Ridley, the Falcons wide receiver who was suspended for a full year for making a total of 5 bets over a 5-day span in November. All parlays, wagered a total of $1,500. The $1,500 he bet cost him $10 million in salary. This is what we know for a fact. All right. The NFL determined that Ridley placed multi-legged parlay bets involving 3, 5, and 8 games. He's playing 3-teamers, 5-teamers, and 8-teamers. And they included the Falcons to win in straight-up fashion, I believe. And they all were made on his cell phone. So, obviously, you don't want bettors, players betting. Okay, in the history of the NFL, players suspended for gambling. 2 guys in 1963, including a Hall of Famer, Paul Hornung. Art Schlichter in 1983, who went to jail for his fraud. Josh Shaw in 2019, who nobody ever heard of, and now Calvin Ridley. So it doesn't happen very often in the NFL to see this happen. But to see how this played out, all right, the NFL was tipped by whatever book Ridley was betting at. The book told the league, hey, we're getting bets from someone we shouldn't be getting bets from. Quote, that's via David Payne Purdom at ESPN. Quote, the NFL learned of Ridley's betting activity through his relationship with the legal sports betting industry. So let's talk about this, Prez. Player making bets shouldn't happen. Book telling the league the player's making bets, I think that's appropriate. League punishing the player, I think that's appropriate. Bottom line is, I think everybody handled the situation right. I give the league an A. I give Ridley an A. Ridley came out. He was honest with the investigators. I made the bets. He went out tweeting yesterday. I'm not an addict. I don't have a gambling problem. I know I'm wrong, but I'm getting 1 year, LOL. Yeah, $10 million lesson. What do you think, Prez?
Well, I mean, listen, the first thing that jumps to my mind is he should have gotten 2 years. 1 year for being a sports bettor and betting on his own team and betting in the league that he plays. The second is because he made an 18 parlay. That is worthy of another year suspension just for complete and utter stupidity. I wouldn't mind tacking on another one for the 5-team parlay, but maybe we'll give him a little break on the 3-teamer because we did point out, or at least I did, that is the most effective parlay. Teddy, it's crazy to me that this has gone down because what really is the most clear is this guy was injured and bored and clearly just threw some shit against the wall in order to give himself an adrenaline rush. One would assume It would be hard to get an adrenaline rush when you're betting $1,500 and you make $10 million a year. I don't understand his maneuver at all, but I agree with you, man. Obviously, he has to get punished. Every one of the 4 players prior to him got exactly the same suspension. Most of them under different commissioners, so there is consistency there. And as far as the book goes, hell yeah, the book should report it. You know, Teddy, we do the show every day. Every week, somebody is in the chat room. Oh, it's fixed. It's fixed. There's so much integrity involved for the sports bet books, for the bettors, for the league, for the players. That stuff just cannot be put in question. But man, what an expensive lesson Calvin Ridley learned. And but with that, like, I mean, he's not a bad guy. Like, it was just a stupid mistake.
Yeah, we're all human. That's the thing that everyone likes to throw javelins and, oh, look what he did. Look what he did. We all make mistakes, every one of us. Calvin Ridley made a big one, but the bottom line is, I thought Ridley handled it right. I thought the books handled it right. I thought the league handled it right. And this is a positive outcome.
Yeah,
a reasonable outcome from
Yep.
what is the first major gambling scandal since sports betting got legalized across the country. So let's give some thumbs up where thumbs up are due. And I'm going to ask Sharapan out about it, obviously, later in the show, see what he thinks. But
absolutely.
in my opinion, everyone got this one right.
Teddy, before we bring on Ronald Cabang, I just want to point out a real bad beat. I know we're not doing a bad beat segment, but man, the people on the over in that Gonzaga game must have lost their crap. That game was a stone cold over right up until the whistle blew, frankly. And even with 22 seconds left, you were still not 100% convinced that San Fran wasn't going to foul on the inbound pass. Everything that could have gone wrong for over bettors in the last couple of minutes did. Oh, well.
It wasn't like it was a whole lot of fun for the Zags bettors either. Gonzaga led that game by 20 at halftime. They led that game by 20 with 5 to play. And I think they scored 4 points the rest of the way. So if you had the over, if you had Gonzaga, as we put out yesterday with the big game breakdown, last 5 minutes of that game, no fun whatsoever. Oh, that was tough.
Guys, I want to just shout out everybody who bought my 5% play yesterday, Teddy. Like Johnny Detroit, and I'm not even like, I'm on a huge run and I'm on a big 5% run, and I had a monolithic sales day. I had like Johnny was like, holy crap. There was so many players on my 5%. It was the under in the Gonzaga game. And it cashed, baby. And
never in doubt.
I just want to shout out to everyone because it meant the world to me. And Johnny logs on to Slack last night. Wow. Oh my God. How did you win? How did it happen? And then me and him are texting back and forth. He's like, I'm so superstitious, I wouldn't even watch the game. I was just refreshing my app score feeds. I was like, Johnny, man, that game was never in doubt. All my clients knew it. We knew we were going to catch. There wasn't a moment where we thought we were going to lose that game. Anyway, Ronald Cabang, baby. $2 Tuesdays, everybody. Ronald is part of the 3-capper $5 offer over at Sports Memo. Teddy, by the way, is the $2 Tuesday handicapper over at Sports Memo as well, so check him out. And as he said, he is rolling. But Ron, man, we'd love having you on the show, guys. We have a promo every Tuesday at Sports Memo. 3 handicappers for $5. Teddy is included in that today. He's got a 5% CBB big ticket. Ron Cabang, otherwise known as U-Capper, has a 5% rare NBA play, and Kevin Brown is a 5% NBA top prop bet. You guys can get all 3 of those for $5. Ron, I was long-winded. My apologies. How the hell are you?
Doing well. Had a nice bounce back yesterday. Could have been better, but I was on the Kings yesterday, and they had a nice lead at half, and kind of just blew that in the second half. So we'll see how it goes today. I'm a pretty straight better. I don't normally have 5 unit bets. It's only my second one so far in 2022, or my third one. So I'm looking forward to it.
So with
Excellent.
the
Okay, well,
with the
let's
Kings
get
blowing that huge lead last night against the Knicks, you got to say the Knicks are the best in-game betting team there is right now, because whoever's leading at halftime, you just bet the other way. So hopefully you were able to take advantage of some of that last night, Ronald. We got a couple of games to talk about. Prez, let's go.
Okay, well, I'll just set up the first one. You got a team total bet for us in the Thunder game. I hand the mic to you.
Yeah, I'm looking at this Bucks and Thunder's game. Bucks are on a 4-game win streak, but they are playing the first of back-to-back games, road to home games with Hawks up next. As far as injuries, Lopez, Hill, Connaughton, and Allen are all out for the Bucks. The Bucks did beat the Thunder earlier this season in Milwaukee and limited them to just 89 points. And ever since they've kind of let go of Tucker, you don't see that type of defense as much from the Bucks team anymore. But the Thunder are dead last in offensive rating this season in the NBA, so it doesn't really take much to kind of stop them from scoring. And when the Bucks are in the first game of back-to-backs and are playing a team with a losing record, they're allowing just 105.5 points per game. They're also allowing just 102 per game when they're double-digit faves on the first game of back-to-backs. Both situations are active today. On the Thunder side, they're dealing with a slew of injuries here, most notably Giddey's still out. The guys like Kenrich Williams, Ty Jerome, Lou Dort, they're all game-time decisions today. They're also playing the first game of back-to-back games today as well. And in a 10-game sample size in this situation, they're averaging under 100 points per game. The Thunder have been double-digit dogs 22 times so far this season, and they're only averaging 98.7 points per game in those 22 games. And also out of those 22 games, they've only scored over 108.5 just 3 times. And the team total today is set at 108.5. I do think they're going to score more than the 89 they did in their last matchup, but I have them scoring in the 103 to 105 range, so we still got some value towards that team total under. I just want to avoid the spread, the double-digit spread here, because they've been so strong as double-digit covering situations, and the Bucks, they could be possibly looking ahead to their upcoming schedule. So I want to avoid the spread here and just focus on the team total on the Thunder side.
So Ronald says expect a relatively low-scoring affair from the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight. Let's take a look at the second game that you wanted to talk about, the Cavs and the Pacers. Obviously, huge injury news for Cleveland, with Jared Allen now going to be out indefinitely. I don't think it's going to be a long-term injury that's going to take him into the postseason, but he's out right now. The Pacers have shown some signs of life in recent weeks. They're a team that can jack it up from three, but not a team that's really capable of hanging in the low post against Cleveland. What do you make of this matchup, Pacers versus the Cavs?
Yeah, obviously the Jared Allen news is huge for this team, and they have already been kind of struggling lately. They're just 2-6 straight up, and against the spread in their last 8 games. And 2 of those straight up wins, were actually against a struggling Wizards squad and a shorthanded Raptors team. And as far as scheduling, this is the first of a 3-game road trip as well, with key games against the Heat and the Bulls coming up next. So there could be that look-ahead factor here as well. The biggest thing, obviously, is the Jared Allen injury. He's out indefinitely for for a while. They're also without LeVert already, and Rondo's a game-time decision. And without Allen on the court, really, the Cavs' defensive rating and pace doesn't change much, but the offensive rating actually drops about 6 points. It's that him in the paint, getting the offensive rebounds, the putbacks, just down low, dominating is a huge loss for them. They're 2-6 straight up and 1-7 against the spread this season without Allen in the lineup. They're also 1-4 against the spread in conference road games versus teams with a losing record. So they tend to play down to their opponent's level at times, especially in the conference road games. On the Pacers side, they do have that revenge factor here, and they don't play again until I think it's either Saturday. I think Saturday. So they can pretty much go all out and not have to worry about fatigue factoring in at all. In their last 5 games, they actually have a better offensive and defensive rating than the Cavs. I think there's about a 4-point difference in net rating there. And the line here, I feel like it's short for a reason. Jared Allen is a huge loss for them, both emotionally and physically, and as a presence in the paint. And with the look ahead to the Heat and Bulls, I just don't think the Cavs are mentally focused. 100% mentally focused in this game. I feel like there's a chance the Pacers win this one outright. Definitely just recommend taking the points as precaution.
So these two teams played twice last month. One of them stayed 29 points under. The other one went 17 points over. My initial thought when Allen got, we saw the Allen injury information, we said, hey, let's start betting some Cleveland overs. And Indiana, certainly an over team in general, one with their team that's built on offense, not on defense. Any thoughts on the total for tonight's game? Would you look at the over? Would you look at the under? Does Indiana? I thought Indiana. There's some correlation here between Indiana and the over, which is why I brought it up.
Yeah, I mean, the Pacers, they've definitely been an over team so far. I think with Cleveland, with Allen out and that offensive rating kind of dipping a little bit, but no difference in defensive rating and the pace. I just want to watch a couple of games and see how they adjust with this huge injury, especially with Allen, LeVert out as well as that sort of like that second scorer from the guard position. And then you have the guys like Kevin Love, who's going to get more minutes, obviously, and he's more of a perimeter shooter. Yep. I want to see how the Pacers kind of defend that as well. And they don't. I mean, the Pacers, they don't have any bigs, especially with Turner still out. Maybe you see Kevin Love and Mobley going down low in the paint. To me, I think it's too soon to really adjust or even look towards the totals in Cleveland games. Maybe just take a few games and see how they kind of mix things up.
Ronald Cabang, everyone. Outstanding work, Ronald. We love having you on, guys. Make sure to take advantage of the offer over at Sports Memo. $5. You get Teddy covers, you capper, and, of course, Kevin Browdus. All three guys, $5. Ron, we really appreciate you taking the time, brother. I've done your promotion for you. Get the hell out of here. Teddy, we're going to take a quick break, man. We got a jam-packed show. Of course, Dave Sharapan, Carmine Bianco, your big game breakdown, and the most listened to, most loved, most watched, most demanded segment on the planet in history of the world. Game of Thrones, candle to candle to it, the daily presidential address.
Between now and Selection Sunday on March 13th, there are still tons of regular season college basketball action to go. Plus, all of the conference tournaments and WagerTalk and Sports Memo are announcing their March Madness Bonanza special, which includes the rest of college basketball regular season, conference tournaments, NCAA tournament through the national championship, and any plays released in the NIT or CBI tournaments. Sign up for this promotion now at your favorite handicappers homepage and get the rest of the college basketball season through the national championship on Monday, April 4th for just $177. That's under $5 a day for one of the best betting experience in sports. Act fast as the March Madness Bonanza special is only available for a limited time.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. Let's talk a little Suns and Magic for Tuesday Night NBA. Of course, I am the $2 Tuesday handicapper, or one of the $2 Tuesday handicappers at Sports Memo. You can get my best bet in college hoop for tonight for only $2. Suns aren't going to have Devin Booker or Chris Paul once again in the lineup this evening. And they're coming off a loss in Milwaukee. And the absence of that duo mattered a lot down the stretch against the Bucks. Remember, the Suns led that game, +9. They led that game with 3 minutes to play on Sunday, and it turned into a 10-point defeat thanks to a 12-1 closeout run for the home team. But even without Booker and even without Paul, there aren't many NBA teams as deep as Phoenix. The Suns still going 10 deep right now. They have a winning record without their star duo in the lineup here in March. And, of course, off a loss on the highway for the season, 5-0 straight up, 4-1 against the spread. I like Phoenix off a defeat. Orlando's home court is worth pretty close to 0 might be worth 0. They're 7-22 at home, dead last in the NBA at home, 9-20 against the spread at home. Not dead last. There are worse teams, but it's certainly not good. Any team that comes in with focus is likely to beat them. They're not a hungry team for straight up wins down the stretch. They're sitting with the potential number 1 overall draft choice coming their way this summer. They're tied with the worst record in the NBA right now. The Magic lost by 27 in the first meeting against the Suns this year, and they're saying they're going to hang within 6 in the second meeting. Shop around. You can find 5.5. Not with my money. Phoenix, minus the points off a loss. Give me the Suns, minus the 5.5. There's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Teddy covers. Teddy, we're bringing in one of my best pals ever, Carmine Bianco. Always excited to have Carm on with us. Carm, you probably had a long day already. 7 soccer games before 8 a.m.? Teddy, Carm's life consists of watching soccer all day and hockey all night.
Not entirely, but I did do the stoppage time show at 10 a.m., the puck time show at 11 a.m., and then this is my favorite one because I always love to hang out with Teddy. So I love doing this show as well, too.
Understandable, dude. I mean, the only person that loves to hang out with me is me, but I love it so much. Carm's the $2 Tuesday handicapper over at WagerTalk. We'll talk about it in a sec, but dude, let's get into some sports betting talk. Vegas Golden Knights playing the Flyers, and right now, Vegas, man, they need to win hockey games. This is a team that has pretty much put Mark Stone out to pasture until the playoffs start, and they might not even make the playoffs. A real important game for Vegas here. Philadelphia, I thought they gave up on the season. They're playing hard and smothering as well. I look to the under in this game. Carm, how are you betting this?
Yeah, listen, it's a tough one. Vegas, obviously, they're a much better team on the road than they have been at home. Usually, that fortress in Vegas is where they stockpile in their points, but they're only 16, 13, and 3 at home, whereas on the road, 16, 8, and 1, and they're playing well. They're embarking on this 5-game road trip where I think the timing is perfect for them. They've turned the corner on that bad run that they had. They've won 3 of their last 4 games, albeit against teams that they're supposed to be beating. But during that losing streak, they weren't beating these teams that they're supposed to be beating, like the Ottawas, the Anaheims, and teams like Seattle Kraken. So now they embark on this road trip where they're going to play the Flyers tonight, the Sabres, the Pittsburgh Penguins, Columbus, and Winnipeg. And in all honesty, they've got I think they win 4 of these next 5 games. They kick off with Philadelphia, who are coming off a win, but just don't win a lot of games. They're 2-8 their last 10, 4-11 their last 15, 4-16 of their last 20, 4-21 their last 25. You get where I'm going with this. This is not a very good Philadelphia team. They're done for the season. They're likely going to be a seller at the trade deadline, which comes in 13 days' time, where they try and move some of the contracts and rebuild this team. But it's the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, you can't play them at this price. The problem we have, Prez, is that for the duration of this season, I've talked about it on Puck Time, we are going to see some big money lines with a lot of the teams. You're seeing it right now, minus 220s, minus 250s, 300s. The books need to balance the action. These big teams are going to be favored. These playoff-bound teams are going to be favored by big numbers. I'm more of a regulation guy. I look for some regulation-type bets. Vegas opened at minus 110. They're up to minus 115. And I would take them in regulation time for much of what I'm talking about. The fact that you cannot lay these big prices, I think it's a losing proposition over the long term. There's very few guys who can find and lay the big or bigger money lines, the 170s, 180s, and do it successfully. One of them is Brian Leonard, and he's having a fantastic NHL season. He's very good at finding them. I'm not. So I'm going to go with the regulation line on the Vegas Golden Knights tonight.
Well, let's talk about a couple of teams that aren't necessarily playoff worthy for this evening. That, of course, the Detroit Red Wings. And, man, when I lived in Michigan, Detroit was title town, and the Red Wings were minus $2 every game, and they were, making deep playoff runs years after years. That was then. This is now. Nonetheless, Their big home chalk tonight, minus 170, minus 175. You can shop around, you can find higher for the Red Wings against Arizona, which speaks volumes for what the Coyotes are doing this season. What are we going to do? Detroit versus Arizona.
Yeah, those days, those great days of years past, Teddy, are coming back. It is going to happen in the next couple of years with this Detroit team. Give Steve Yzerman some time. He is building a team there that is going to be super competitive. And they could very well be a playoff team next season. I said earlier in the season when they were having a good start to the year that they're not a playoff team as of yet. I'm going to look at the total here with these two. It opened at 5.5. There still are some 5.5s, but 6s are starting to pop up. These are two teams that when you look at the total, it seems to work as far as going over the total here. Detroit is playing much more entertaining hockey at home of late, 7-2-1 to the over their last 10. And this Arizona team, they are extremely tough to figure out as far as how they're going to play day in and day out. They seem to play the very good teams tough. And you can tell by the score lines, low score lines. Colorado, they've beaten Colorado twice now, I think in the past month, 2-1 just recently, where the Avs were minus 400 in that game, 2-1 score line. Vegas 3-1, Dallas 3-1. And then they'll play a team like Chicago 8-5, Winnipeg 5-3, Seattle 5-2. They're a much more entertaining team when they're playing a team that is not playoff bound, and that is Detroit. Arizona away from home, their last 10, 6-3-1 to the over. And that's where I'm going here. I'm going to go over 6 in this game. Johnny, Detroit is a season ticket holder. If you're going tonight, Johnny, and you're listening to this, take the over.
Carmine Bianco, everyone. Guys, Carm's the $2 Tuesday handicapper at WagerTalk. He's just rolling since January. He's up 51% ROI for his NHL customers. He's hit 65% winners in his last 21 days. He's on a 6-2 run in his 5% play. He's got one up tonight. It's $2. Head over to WagerTalk and grab it. Carm, any last thoughts? I'll see you on Puck Time tomorrow.
Yeah, you'll be on Puck Time. The play tonight is it's a 4% best bet. It's not a 5%. So I just want to make sure in case anyone's going there looking for a 5, it is a 4. But I do like to play, of course. And that's it. Some Champions League soccer today and this week. And I'm just looking forward to trying to continue this very good run. And we'll see you on Puck Time tomorrow.
Awesome stuff. Thanks so much. Carmine Bianco, everyone. Teddy covers. You asked for Dave Sharapan by 12:30. I had a 12:31 at the latest. It is 12:28. I did it, baby. Dave Sharapan, everybody. Dave.
Bet the under.
Yeah, under what?
Come on. Under 9:30. What are you talking about? Come on.
I don't think you've ever been on this early. Ever.
Every
bet
week
the
I'm signed
over.
in. Every single
Guys,
week
I would
I'm
bet
signed in at this time.
I bet the over 9:30 on a regular basis because this is an anomaly. Dave, before we get into it, and Teddy's got questions. He already did the chin. He did his chin move. That when Teddy does this, he wants to talk. Anyway, before we get into that, Dave, we got a Puck Time WagerTalk meet and greet party at the Westgate next Sunday. Not this Sunday, the following Saturday. Friday, March 18th.
Friday.
Jesus.
You don't even know the details.
Friday,
Yeah.
next
you don't even
Friday.
Know
Friday, March 18th.
Let Teddy
give
tell
it a promo.
what
Give
this
it the
is.
right date, Prez, because if people show up on Sunday, they'll be pissed because we're not going to be there. Next Friday from 2 to 7 Pacific time.
Yeah.
Free.
Coming, Dave.
Everybody. You going to be there?
Yes. I love to see this show in person. Are you kidding me? The last time we had the show in person, it was a show in itself. I'm definitely coming just to see the two of you, let alone everyone else. It'll be a blast. Yes.
Well, Dave, I won't be talking to Teddy during that time. I actually have a platform and I'm bronzing my body and I'm just going to stand there in a thong and flex. Look at that. Look at that.
I thought he was going to sit there and he's going to put on platform shoes because he's so short. Dave Sharapan, we have the first major sports betting scandal of the legalization era with Calvin Ridley. I came on at the top of the show. I'm like, I think the league got it right. I think the books got it right. I think Ridley got it right. And I'm viewing this as a positive, as a like everyone did the right thing. How are you viewing it?
Oh, I mean, it's on the books to keep track of who's betting and then tell everybody and all that other stuff. It is what it is. The irony of it for me is that everybody got it right. They have to set a precedent. They got to tell the players you can't bet. But the owners can make deals with the league.
The set.
Well, yeah, of course. But
okay, so they got it right.
Okay, they got it right. You tell me. You asked me the question, and then you told me your opinion. That's good.
Welcome to my world, Dave Sharapan. You're lucky he's not lecturing you.
Hey, it's all.
Let me tell you another thing, Dave.
No problem. Listen, I don't want any drama. I just want to make sure that everyone understands the owners and the leagues and the books. Everybody's in bed with each other. We're going to have books in venues, and that's okay. We have apparently owners allegedly, I don't want any drama, allegedly telling coaches to lose games, but, that's okay. All this other stuff's going on, but make sure that guy bet that $1,500 parlays. He don't do that no more. We got to make sure that we get him. So we can tell the players, make sure that it's not done. You got to do it all. I mean, that's my point. Like, make sure you're doing it all if you really want to police it. The owners asked for integrity fees at the beginning of all this. They wanted integrity fees to keep the integrity of the game intact. They 100% did that. There you go.
Teddy, any
in terms of the punishment, and in terms of the way that it came down, obviously the books are reporting to the league, hey, this guy's making bets, maybe he shouldn't, which is a little bit dicey when you start thinking about, if Ridley, if he's like talking to his buddy, hey, you make the bets, if he's making his bets,
you don't think that's going on? You don't think that's
Of course it's going on. How many NFL players are betting on an average Sunday? More than zero. Okay. But
there you go.
They're not doing it from their own phones. They're not setting up their own accounts, etc. And that's what Ridley did. So when the league makes this type of move where they're like, hey, we're going to get the info, and B, we're going to bust you for it, and it's going to cost you $10 million. Is that the appropriate reaction? What would you do if you were the NFL commissioner today?
Oh, way above my pay grade. Way above my pay grade. Way above my pay grade. They didn't ask me at the beginning of all this when they asked for the integrity fees. I can't tell them now what to do. I mean, you got to make sure the players aren't gambling, because if the players are gambling, or it's known that they're gambling, because it's known that they're doing fantasy shows, talking about whether they're going to score 2 touchdowns or 1, or you should definitely put me in the lineup. That's okay. That's fine. But whether they're betting or not, or their friends betting for them, all that other stuff, I don't know. Definitely all above my pay grade. It's just, there's a lot of irony and, let's say, I don't know what the word is, but there's a lot of stuff going on that a lot of people probably don't really want to know is actually going on. That's all.
Sure. Yeah, sweep it under the rug. You're better off that way.
That's
the other big story, there's another huge story that just came out this morning, which is Aaron Rodgers signing for $153 million guaranteed, 4 more years in Green Bay. Have the markets moved on that news yet? Have you seen anything on the Packers futures or the Broncos futures getting clobbered because now Denver doesn't get Aaron Rodgers? Is this affecting the markets at all? And what would you expect to see based on the Aaron Rodgers news?
So the markets were priced with him staying. There was some speculative pricing going with the Denver one for sure. I don't think anywhere else was really strongly considered and priced into the market. I think people may have been kind of betting the Steelers in hopes that he would go there. And then I don't know if there's really ever got any legs that he would go to Tennessee or not. But no, the only thing that would happen now would be, you would kind of move up the Denver price. But there's a lot of legs on the Russell Wilson possibly going to Denver rumors. So I don't think you'll see that one move as much, because if Denver gets a quarterback, it's going to make an immediate impact if they get a veteran quarterback with those that offense the way it's set up. So no, there won't be too much movement after that. That's why, like, a lot of these places that put up, a lot of NFL markets at this point with all this stuff going on, it's kind of risky for the books, but at the same time, the limits aren't too high, so they'll be just fine with it.
Dave Sharapan. Dave, I know that you love coming on and you always wait for the daily presidential address. You take notes. I see you writing everything I say down.
I dance every time.
Dude, we're only at 93 likes. There might not be one today. And I'm on a 19-5 run in these plays. 19 wins, 5 losses in these plays. And I don't know. They just don't want them. They don't want the picks.
Prez, I can tell you this firsthand. This happened to me at the Circa last week. I was hanging out, met a couple guys. Matt and I went down, met some people from out of town, and we're sitting there, and 4 guys start walking up the steps and go, "Hey, we watch you every week on Wager Talk with Prez and Teddy. Are you Dave?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So we started talking. They were in from Kansas City. They love the show, and they especially love when the two of you have the drama. They love when I say drama, and then they absolutely stay every time for the presidential address. And they ask if Teddy and I really do dance on the off camera that while you're doing it and setting it up with the music. And I said 100% we do. We're not making that up. So I just wanted to shout out those people from Kansas City. They watch every single day, they said. This is part of their day. So I hope that they're watching, because that would be 4 more likes and we could get to 100 for the presidential address. I can't believe that we can't get there.
Oh, brother, we're at 124. We're good. It's happening. Dave, let's talk NBA. Teddy took apart the Phoenix game, even with the two guys out. He likes Phoenix against Orlando. What are you hearing? What are you seeing? Any actionable info in the NBA tonight?
So NBA markets it's so bizarre what's going on, right? Because now you're seeing the division between the haves and the have-nots. But when you see a game like New Orleans and Memphis, which, New Orleans is a better team now than they were before the trade deadlines. Getting CJ McCollum really changed that team. And like there's talk about Zion actually, possibly coming back, which would be great for them. They're playing tight games. They're covering games. The dog is live there, but I personally like Memphis, but I like over in that game. That number's already moved. They've already bet that. So the rest of the games, like you saw yesterday, right? San Antonio was 2.5 all day. An hour before the game, it comes out LeBron's not playing. It shoots to 6.5. I mean, and they still covered. They still covered. Brooklyn on the road, that'll be a play. Although there'll be probably an opposing faction that will say take the dog at home. Okay. Yesterday, favorites and dogs went 4-4. It's getting to that point where the spreads are getting big. How do you lay 13 in a basketball game with Milwaukee today? It's a big number. But how do you take OKC? So I think the lines are getting tough. That's why people got to stay tuned for the presidential address. Watch the basketball show with Ranieri and everybody else so you can maybe find some angles there. There hasn't been much going on, at least this morning, with the NBA market.
Sure. The NBA markets tend to be a little bit quieter in the midst of the insanity of March, where we're basically starting today. Tomorrow, the insanity really begins.
Yes.
Dave Sharapan. And, of course, follow him on Twitter at SportsBKConsig, the Sportsbook Consigliere. But conference tournament play comes, we've got a handful of games today. Tomorrow's wall-to-wall action. Thursday's wall-to-wall action. Friday's wall-to-wall action. Anything actionable that you've seen for today, the sharp bettors like, the public like? Talk to me a little bit about college hoops.
I really have not seen much yet today, but I got to be honest, I was out running around because I was out late last night. I went to the West Coast Conference semifinal, saw the end of Gonzaga, San Francisco, and San Francisco cover, then stayed and watched St. Mary's play Santa Clara. In Santa Clara, the dog covered. St. Mary's is 12.5 now. That opened a little bit higher. That's a 6 o'clock Pacific start. Watch that game. I think the dog is, St. Mary's beat them last time, so you'll hear the revenge angle and all this other stuff. St. Mary's can get baskets, all right? Gonzaga, those between Holmgren and Timmy, they're beasts inside. They have a huge lineup and a veteran guard, which is going to be a recipe for, they're the favorite going in. But I don't think they cover tonight. I think St. Mary's can cover that big number. The total is really low for a basketball game, championship game, where it may kind of get into be a foul fest at the end if they're trailing. I think the over may be live, but the number's way lower than it was like yesterday. That's it for me for the college basketball yet. I got a lot of work to do. I got a show coming up here in a little bit. I got to do some research. But this is a great week, guys. I can't wait to see you in person, Prez, and everyone else that comes to town. Vegas is back as far as that kind of goes. It's going to be it's the first time in a couple of years where we're going to be partying a little bit like it used to be.
Yeah,
so
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Dave Sharapan, everyone, you can hear him on our shows. You cannot hear us on his. Dave.
I don't want any drama. What are you always trying to start drama on Flex Tuesday with me for? Please, I'm trying my best. I got a lot of people I got to answer to.
I like the delay on getting that statement. Dave, NHL, you got 1 minute. Anything you see tonight? I love this card.
Do you really? Wow. So I looked at this card this morning and I was like, boy, this looks like a tough card for me. Overs are just flying in the NHL, right? Florida and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's a home dog. Florida off a back-to-back. And the total 6.5. I must need my head examined, but I like the under in that hockey game. But how many times do you need to run into a wall and bet under? The books need under. They finally conceded yesterday and put 2 games at 7. One pushed and one went over. The Maple Leafs just keep scoring goals. The other one, Vegas, is laying a huge number at Philadelphia. The Flyers aren't winning that game. This is a Vegas in regulation play. That's all I got for you, Prez. I'll let you handle the rest, maybe in the presidential address and everything else.
Dave, I will do that now. Oh my God, I'm excited, but I challenge the two of you guys to even get me to stumble once. Just one time. Anyway.
Easy. Did he challenge us?
Oh, Dan.
He did.
All right. It's the daily presidential address. I'm Lawrence Presman. Guys, thanks to everyone for watching Wager Talk today. Awesome show. Ron Cabang, Carmine Bianco, and Dave Sharapan on. I want to thank everyone for grabbing my 5% play yesterday. It was a winner. I am rolling 20-8 all sports run. I got 1 NBA, 1 college basketball, and 1 hockey play up tonight. I'm on a 9-1 hockey run, so check that out. I got 2 bets for you guys today. Dan, these guys, man, they think they're bothering me.
We got to stumble.
We got him.
We got to stumble.
Oh, you did, huh? It was more like, Dan, put him on the damn screen, man. Anyway. Colorado Avalanche in regulation tonight. I know they're on a back-to-back, but this is a good spot for them because they lost 2 games in a row. Then they won yesterday, and I think we're going to see them go on a little bit of a run. Take Colorado Avalanche in regulation. Take the Detroit Red Wings in regulation tonight. A real good spot for Detroit. They lost a few games in a row, but that was to Tampa Bay and Florida. Now they are going to play Arizona. Arizona has won a couple in a row. It's a good time for them to call it a win streak. Take Detroit and reg. Take Colorado Avs and reg. I'm Lawrence Pressman. That's the show. Teddy covers. I love you. 12:45. You cheese ball. Take us home.
That's going to wrap it for the Tuesday edition of Wager Talk Today. You can catch me on NBA Talk with Jay Money, 10 o'clock Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern time coming up after this. And that's it for today. Wrap it up. We'll do it again tomorrow. Same time, same channel. Between now and then, enjoy the games and good luck tonight.
We'll make this super simple. Kevin Broadus is number 1 in the NBA this season, up 117 units, behind a 62% winning percentage. UCapper was number 1 last season in the NBA, picking up 81 units behind a 57% winning percentage, and this season is already up 52 units. A 30-day NBA pass that includes any 5 and 10-unit best bets is priced at $179, but you can get both top NBA handicappers for the price of one. For a limited time, if you purchase a 30-day NBA pass from either Kevin Broadus or UCapper, you will get a 30-day NBA pass from the other for free.